Hey, everybody! Welcome to Wisdom Wednesday. Man, I am feeling so energetic right now. Maybe it's because I'm drinking some coffee. The one thing about me is my humility. I absolutely love the fact that I'm the most humble person I know. That's why I love drinking this cup over here that says, "Who's awesome?" Anyway, we got a great hangout today. We're going to be going through some awesome stuff. But you know what? Even though I'm feeling all energetic right now, I got to tell you, I've had a very weird weekend. Everybody knows that I vape now. I don't smoke. I've quit smoking. I've even got my original 6 packs of cigarettes right down here. Yeah, the 6 packs over here. I haven't touched them in over almost 2 years now. And I've been vaping. But my vape kind of broke again. The display kind of went on. So I had to go and buy myself a new vape. And I got myself this. It's called the Voopoo. It's really masculine make. It's called the Voopoo make. Voopoo 2. And it's just got, it's really tough. It's durable. It's Dave proof. And that's the one that I needed. So, I'm doing really well. And the reason I'm doing that is because we're going to be smoking tonight. So I just want to go and see. We have everybody on the panel today. We have Dr. Wade. And Dr. Wade, I just want to find out how your week has been. How's everything going with you, man? You're as chipper as ever. How's it going?
Stellar week, my friend. Everything's going great. This is Wednesday, Hump Day, Wisdom Wednesday. Appreciate everybody coming out, spending some time with us. I know a lot of you have had questions. How do I do this? What's the next step? We're going to cut. We've got some things that before you get into specifics that Dave's going to cover that are just fundamental. And I'll let him explain more about that. But I keep getting my name keeps getting mispronounced this week for some reason. I've had all kinds of stuff. So in honor of that, I get Dr. Wayne, Dr. Waite. I've never heard that before. But I'm getting Wayne all the time. I don't know why. My name is clearly Wade, like Dr. Wade. And so I'm drinking out of this cup tonight. I don't know if you can see what that says. Ooh. So I don't know if you're a Doctor Who fan, but yeah. So anyway, everything's Doctor Who.
Doctor Who, not Doctor what?
Doctor what? Doctor Who? I might as well be. I mean, my name has been, I don't know what's in the atmosphere. They might need some of what you're drinking, Dave. I don't know, because you guys should hear what we do before we get on. It's hilarious, man. Dave he put on a show for us. He's like this, he's doing this comedy act. I mean, he was talking about my forehead and Pat's forehead and made this whole thing out of it. And and then all of a sudden he goes, okay, we're going live. And then you guys don't get the entertainment. So you got to pay for that stuff. But hey, guys, great to be here tonight with you. I'm excited. I had a great clinic week. Marketing online is going really good. And I look forward to helping you get over any humps, move forward, succeed in what you're doing. That's what we're here for. We're here for you. So Dave, back to you, buddy.
All right, man. For those of you who missed it, I was just saying, he was saying, man, I got a forehead. My forehead's so big. And I said, you ain't got a forehead. You got a 5 head. When you were in the army, you were saluting like this. You don't have dreams. You see movies, that type of thing. So, we had a great time. So with that being said, we have Miss Katie Stage. Katie Stage, how are you doing? Where are you, by the way?
I'm in Florida, southern Florida. A loud truck behind me. And we're right by Homestead, by the Everglades. Awesome. We went kayaking today, snorkeling.
Nice.
Had some fun. Fun and fun.
Nice. And did you just look out the window to see where you were?
Maybe.
Okay. Well, anyway, we're glad that we got Katie on here. And for those of you who don't know, Katie is our moderator, and she just does a super fantastic job on the comments. So if you've got any questions or quips or quotes you want to send, just put them in the comment section so she can let us know. Because I'm not really good at the comment section, being a guy in that. And I already know how to do 1s and 2s and stuff. I don't really know how to do emojis. So I'm not really all that there with that type of stuff. But with that being said, we have in our presence our fearless leader, Mr. Pat Cupcake Patterson. And Pat, I can see, is doing a lot better today. He's not being a crybaby today. I got to say that. So Pat,
I'm always a crybaby. Always a crybaby. But I will tell you this, and because I want to be part of the cup group. You know, it was several years ago that I bought a cup that has the invisible writing on it. And if you'll look close on my cup, it says Pat is awesome. I mean, can you guys read that? Well, you probably not, because it's invisible, the invisible ink. It's something that NASA came out with a few years ago. And so I went ahead and purchased it. But it can say whatever I want it to say. Each day I could change what it says. But tonight it just says Pat is awesome. So there's my cup. And there's Dr. Wade saying, man, I don't see it. Dr. Wade is like deer in a headlight, like, what? I don't see nothing. Because it's invisible ink on there. It's a cup with the invisible NASA ink, Dr. Wade. So that's why you can't see it. So yeah. Everybody got it but you, Dr. Wade. It's okay, man. But see, Dr. Wade has spent so much time with me trying to be my doctor from afar, like all the way from Mississippi, that he's probably tired of talking to me. So, but guys, we came on here tonight to do something that we always do, is to teach you how to take action. And tonight, we're going to show you 11 different successful secrets. And we call these secrets because very few people know about them. So we hope you enjoy the show. Don't go anywhere, because you never know what Pat's going to say. Hell, I can't wait to hear what I'm going to say next. So, but yeah, Dr. Wade, thank you for all your help with my neck. It is getting better. I mean, a compressed nerve, never get one of those, guys. It's not what it's cracked up to be. You know, I if I'd have known that, I would have never ordered that overnight. I'd have just let it came regular ground shipping, but it's been tough. So anyway, I'm going to send it back to the studio, and we did move the studio all the way to Africa, I believe.
Thank you, Pat. And I got to say, I'm quite excited about what I want to talk about today, because honestly, if it weren't for these 11, now we call them secrets, but you could also call them 11 habits or 11 steps, all right, that you want to take. And believe me, these are fundamentals to your success in your online business. But before I get on to those 11 keys, I want to first tell you that you need to, before you actually hear what I have to say, make sure that you actually have a system that you can learn from. All right. And if you don't have a system that you can learn from, I want you to go ahead and click on the button at the bottom of this video and go and get yourself set up. All right. You can do it after this video as well if you want to, but make sure that you actually have a system. So, you know, you can do this with Peer Profit Pro. You can do this with My Lead System Pro. You can do this with Traffic Authority. You can do it with all the systems that we all use, but make sure that you actually have a system that can actually take you through the process of learning how to start a business. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you, or I'm going to reveal to you, the 11 keys that I use that actually gets me going and gets me producing results. And these aren't just this airy-fairy nonsense that you hear that you can read about in any store. This is real stuff that you need to take action on. And I'm going through that stuff right now. So please make sure you have a system. And if you do, please take notes. Write this down. Even though Pat doesn't take notes, I know that Pat does just about every single one of these. In fact, I know he does. So I want to go through this now with you. All right. So the first habit that I want you to adopt in your business, all right, whenever you get started, whenever you get going, the first habit that you must absolutely do inside of your business is to make sure that when somebody sends you a question, when somebody asks you something, that you respond immediately. All right. I want you to make this a part of your daily life, when somebody asks you something, and in fact, the guy that started Walmart employed this tactic. It was called the sundown rule. What he did is he made sure that he got back to everybody within that business day. And I say to people that you need to respond within 12 hours, and the shorter the better, which means if somebody emails you with a question, respond back to them immediately. Even if you can't get the full answer straight away, make sure that you can at least type out something like, I can't get back to you with this whole answer now. Can you give me a few days to collect the information? That'll be good as well. But make sure you respond, because the longer you wait, the ruder you become. And honestly, if you respond to somebody even 2 days later, your credibility goes straight out the window. So that was the number one rule that I employed inside of my business, is that I made sure that I responded immediately. And of course, when I first got started, I was known back then as the 24-hour marketer, which meant that I was up all night because most of the people that I dealt with were overseas. And so when they sent me an email, I just responded very quickly. And I cannot tell you how many times I have had engagement, I have had people buy products from me, and I've had people use my services because I responded quickly. And the truth is that most people are too scared to respond. Most people don't know what to say, but you absolutely need to take action. And I'm sure everybody here on the panel would agree. So that is the first habit you need to do. The second, all right, the second habit that you need to do, and this is important, is you need to be committed. Now, I know it sounds fairly simple to say that you need to be committed, but in my experience, if you're working online, you need to get yourself going so that every single day you are working on your business, all right? And I call this towing the line, or holding the line, and making sure you run with your business. And a lot of people, what they do when they get started is they'll start on a Monday, and then they'll go again on a Wednesday, and then they'll start the following Tuesday, and then they go on Thursday, and they don't toe the line. They don't keep themselves into a routine. You absolutely need to be committed in your business. Now, I'm going to give you a way that you can actually stay committed every single week at least. And so what I would encourage you to do is to get onto a YouTube live at a certain time and make sure that you are teaching something every single week. All right. So we have this thing every single Wednesday, which means that every single Wednesday I have to be here at a certain time every single week. And that keeps me in connection with people that are following me. That keeps me accountable to myself. And I know that other people are wanting to hear what I have to say. But you see, when you start putting it out there and start like making an announcement on Facebook, and you say, hey guys, from now on, I'm going to be there every single week at this particular time, and I would love for you to join me, and you commit to that. Now, if you disappoint yourself, you're only disappointing yourself and potentially other people. So that's one of the ways that I like to hold myself accountable. You can also work with somebody else if you want to. If you want to have something like an accountability partner, that's fine. That's not my style. I don't like to be held accountable to anybody but myself. But if you can work with somebody like a business partner and always chat every day, that's another way that you can also be committed. All right. So get yourself onto a weekly schedule and get yourself somebody who you can actually work with. All right. So get yourself a partner, and that will help you to be committed. The next habit, or the next key that you should be employing, is this. And this is something I take on personally, and I know it's hard for a lot of people to do. But the next thing that I really hold to is that I never, ever lose my cool. I never get angry. I never get upset. I never, ever lose it online for any reason whatsoever. If you're doing a rant on YouTube, that's okay. But never in the case of being on a hangout or being on some sort of live, if somebody responds to you and you just get angry, never lose your cool. And the reason I say that people shouldn't lose their cool online is because the moment you do that, you start to lose sight of what's important. Because when people get angry, they just see red and they start to say things that they regret. And once you put it out online, and we know certain people that have been online that have said things out of anger, and they can't take it back because somebody has grabbed that recording and now it's up for the world to see forever. And that's something you definitely want to stay away from. So never lose your cool. And in fact, if you just keep pursuing what you do and you remain calm all the time, you will be a constant person that somebody can approach, and that will make you more attractive to other people. The fourth one is quite important, all right, and that is that you need to start changing your peer group. And yes, that means you might have to start hanging around other people. And the reason we all do this, and I know everybody here on this panel does this, is that we actually choose the people that we hang around with, because we understand that when you are hanging around other people who are successful, their success is going to rub off on you. If you hanging around people, you know, in the pub every single Friday after work, every night that you default to, if you keep doing that, I'm telling you right now that you are going to be hanging around those people forever. Change your peer group. And in many cases, you might have to actually change the type of people you hang around with. People that are constantly putting you down, people that are always being negative. And I know that Katie's dad, Pops, actually had to lose a couple of friends because of this, because they were putting him down all the time. I'm telling you right now, this is a key function in your success. Make sure that you are integrated into a community of people that you can learn from. Change your peer group. Start thinking about the people you hang around with, because there's a saying out there that goes, you are the 5 people that you hang around with. So if you hang around people who are just messing around all the time, right now, I can guarantee you that in 5 years' time, you're going to be hanging around with those same people doing exactly the same thing, and you will not have changed anything in your life. So that is number 4. Number 5 is kind of interesting. And maybe a lot of you guys know this already, but this is something I teach my team members a lot. And this is number 5, is to make sure that you always over prepare. And I'll tell you a little secret. Maybe Pat doesn't know this really. I don't think Pat is actually aware of this. But, you know, when Pat asked me to become a panelist on his Hangout, he said to me, Dave, you know, I'd really like to come on and so you can tell your story. And what I did is I practiced my story over and over and over and over again until I had it down. Once I had it down and everything was in place, I was there 150% ready to tell my story. So when I was invited on Pat's Hangout and I told my story with gusto. I was there. I was saying everything I needed to say, and I was prepared, and people heard what I said. And as a result of that, Pat contacted me and said, Dave, would you like to be a permanent member on this panel? And I don't know if it was because of what I said, but all I know is that when you over prepare, what you really are doing is you are making a mark. All right. And if you go on a panel, let's say you get invited on a panel of 6 people and everybody's kind of contributing something to the conversation. What might happen is that 5 out of the 6 people on there will just be there as they are randomly or every single week, just kind of generally saying something. But if you are there over prepared and you have actually something of value to say, guess who's going to stand out? You are going to stand out, which means that people are going to be listening to you. And if what you are saying is clear and succinct and you've got points and everything is practiced and you know what you're saying, you're going to be the person that actually stands out. You see, if you just keep coming back to the same panel and you're not preparing and you're just saying the same old stuff without actually learning and preparing and over preparing, you're just going to blend in the background. And this is why you need to stand out and make sure that people understand what you need to say to them. Very important to make sure you over prepare. And this goes with everything. All right. And this is what I used to do in school. If I had to stand up and say something, I made sure I prepared what I had to say, and I would outsmart everybody. I would outshine everybody because I was prepared, and hardly anybody in the class did. I always did well with public speaking in school because I practiced. Okay, so that's over prepared. Now, number 6 is quite similar to number 2, which is to never give up, all right? But this is different. This is to never give up in the face of adversity. You know, if there's one thing that we know as marketers, is that when things go well, we kind of got the momentum to carry on. But when things go badly, it's a little bit hard to stay regular. It's a little bit hard to actually stay with the program. And what you need to do is to look at every single obstacle as a challenge. You need to look at every single thing that is against you as a way for you to overcome that and to keep on working. One thing I always say at the end of my emails, at the end of my posts, at the end of my videos a lot is the phrase, keep on keeping on. And believe it or not, people in my team say the same thing because I say it so often. It's something that I do and I practice every single day. I make sure that I work on my business all the time, whether I'm feeling bad, whether I'm feeling good, whether I'm feeling sick, whether I've broken a leg, I'm going to make sure I get on track. And you know what? Pat, Katie, and Dr. Wade have the same philosophy, all right? That they will get you as much effort as they can. You know, Pat has not been feeling well, and the other day he couldn't make it, but he really was in a lot of pain. But Pat will always be here if he can. And that's the point. You've got to keep on working despite the circumstances around you. All right. Does that make sense to everybody so far? I'm about halfway through. Big thumbs up. Okay, so we know that. Now, I'm going on to number 7. And number 7 is very important. And this is something that I do every day. I make sure that I do at least one of these things. And I mean, not one of these habits, but I make sure that I learn one thing, at least one thing new every single day. You need to make sure that you are learning something new, because if you're not learning, you're actually dying. I want you to remember that. If you're not learning, you're actually dying. It's so important to understand that, because what could happen is that if you keep repeating the same phrase, and we actually had somebody that used to repeat the same phrase. It was great the first time they said it, and then they said it again, and then they said it again, and then after the 10th time you think, gee, I've heard this thing 10 times already. When are they going to say something else? You need to be learning something new every single day. And the reason you want to learn is so that you can share it with the world. If you want to be in an online industry, or you want to run your own business online, or do something that you're really passionate about, and you want to make a difference in the world, you need to learn something new about that particular passion. And you need to, the moment you learn it, you send it out. You're like a sponge. Everything you learn, you send it out. That is so important. Now I'm squinting because I can barely see my notes here on the screen. The 8th habit that that I think is important, and I believe it to be, and that Pat speaks about this a lot, is to keep your word. Is to keep your word. How many times have you said to somebody, I will be there at a particular time, and you just don't show up, or you forget about it? Your word is the only thing that you really can hold on to. If you break your word, your integrity goes out the window. And this is why it's important to keep appointments. It's important to always show up. If you say that you are going to be at a particular place at a certain time, make sure you are there. All right? The people that are the most successful in the world have all adopted this strategy. You know, they don't like being late. They always like to be on time, and they want somebody to record it. All right? It's always important. And you know what? We forget as well, but it's one thing I make sure that I do is I absolutely try and keep my word. And if for some reason I can't make it, I apologize. You should never be afraid of apologizing and say, you know what, I'm really sorry. I should never have done that. I was way out of line. Make sure that you are true to yourself. Okay, so keeping your word. Number 9, and this is also important for those of you who are newbies out there and you're getting started in your business. Never, ever play the blame game. Never, ever play the blame game. If you are not succeeding, it is no one else's fault except your own. If you are not succeeding, it is no one else's fault except your own. It's not the business. It's not your mentor. It's not your coach. It is your fault. And I take this a step further, actually. All right, I take this a step further, because another great quality of leaders is that leaders take unreasonable amounts of responsibility. Leaders take unreasonable amounts of responsibility. And I take this a step forward. Even if it is somebody else's fault, I still take the blame. All right, even if it is somebody else's fault, I still take the blame. Why? Because I'm in control of my own destiny. I'm the person that is guiding this rudder. And if I make a blunder with somebody else and they let me down, that's okay. It's a learning experience. You know not to do this next time, but it's your responsibility and you should never have gone that route, and you just go. And the reason you do that is because you're taking responsibility. I see so many people that will say something like, Dave, you know, I've been working at this for 6 months. I've been working at this for a year. I've been working at this for 2 years. Nothing is happening. Why isn't this working? Obviously, the system is all messed up and things aren't working out for me because the courses aren't right. No, the courses aren't right. There is something that you are doing that you need to change. There is something that you are doing that you need to change. When I was making videos, I was uploading hundreds of videos every single week, and I still wasn't getting a result. And it took me 8 months to realize that the reason I wasn't getting a result was because I wasn't actually following a strategy that worked. I was just going according to my own plan. But according to me, I was working all the time. But I was in that stage trying to, what the heck? This isn't working. No, it's my fault. It's nobody else's fault. And I will tell you that the biggest leaders that come out take responsibilities for themselves all the time. The next habit, and this is the second to last one, is one that I've coined called redirect, don't ramble. Redirect, don't ramble. If somebody contacts you and you have a solution for them, let's say you're inside of, as an example, let's say you're inside of My Lead System Pro, okay? And you want somebody, and you're looking for people to sign up, okay? Somebody contacts you and say, you know, Dave, I'm really interested in My Lead System Pro. Can you tell me more about it? Now, what happens normally is you end up having a conversation that takes like 2 hours, which you're wasting your time, because after those 2 hours, what happens? You actually somehow convince them that this isn't the right thing for them, and then they go somewhere else. Redirect, don't ramble. Point them in a direction where somebody else can actually do the studying for you. If you're new to something, there are videos in place where you can point to other videos that can explain it much better than you. Don't try and convince people that this is the right choice. Send them to the answer they need to go to. All right. So if somebody contacts Katie and somebody says to Katie, I really want to know how to do this PHP code and it's not working out right for my affiliate links. She doesn't try and work it out and say, well, you need this and that. She knows that I do it fairly well. So what does she do? She sends them to me. She redirects. She doesn't ramble on, because she might confuse the issue and make it worse. I'm not picking on you, Katie. I'm just using that as an example. But you understand what I'm saying. Don't talk about things you don't know about. Send them to the right videos. Send them to the right presentations. Don't sit there and try and convince them for 2 hours, because I'm telling you right now, most of those conversations end up when people just walk away. And I know I've been part of that. I'm sure everybody here would understand what I'm talking about. And the last habit, and this is something which I think out of all of us, I think Pat has the most of, and that is posture. Make sure that you have posture in your business. Now, what is posture? Posture does not mean sitting up straight, although it is involved sitting up straight. It's always a good idea to be able to sit up straight. Having good posture is the idea that you are going to go on with your business no matter what somebody else says. So bad posture would be you saying something like, oh, please join my business. Please join my business. Please buy my products. And they say no and say, oh, come on. That's bad posture. Good posture is somebody asking about the business and they're saying, you know, it's not for me. And you say, you know what? It probably isn't. And you move on to the next person. That is good posture. And in fact, if you come off like that, the other person will be thinking, gee, that is a bit strange. They weren't trying to convince me. They actually told me to go away. And that is a little magnetic. That is attraction marketing. When you go forward, no matter what people say in your business. And these are the 11 keys that you should use inside of your business. Do you want me to go over the list again, or does everybody have them on notes? Or is that, does anybody have any questions? Okay,
I definitely took notes. I got.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Does anybody have any questions, any quips, any quotes?
Don says number 6 wants to be repeated.
Number 6.
But never give up. That's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah, never give up in the face of adversity. You know, I'll tell you something. I'll give you an example. When I went to school, when I was growing up, you had no option to go to school. I don't know about kids today, but for some reason, people are skipping classes left, right, and center. But when I was growing up, the idea was that you went to school every single day. And I'll tell you something about me being in school. I was bullied my entire life, throughout my entire schooling career. People picked on me all the time. I was different. I'm religious, so I've got certain standards, and people are always picking on me, always making fun of me. And I had that my entire life throughout my schooling career. But the difference is that I never let it get to me to the point where I was just decided I didn't want to go to school anymore. It wasn't an option. And in fact, when I was in grade 10, I had the option to leave school and to go to a college. And I decided to go back to school because I wanted to complete my education. And you know what happened? I became class captain. In spite of all the adversity that I had in school, I kept on working at it. I didn't let it get me down. I always made sure that, you know what, it's another day. I've got to carry on no matter how bad I felt. I don't think I missed 5 days in my entire schooling career. I always made sure I went to school. And today, everybody skips every single class they go to, but I always made sure that I was there every single day. Never, ever give up, no matter how bad it is. You see, it's when you start gaining a little bit of success, when you start making sales inside of your business, that's great. But what happens when you have a streak where you have no sales for like 2 months, no sales for like 3 months? It's a little harder, isn't it? And that's where you got to keep on grinding. That's where you got to keep on working. I've run my hangout that I do for 5 years now. I've been doing it for 5 years, every single week. Pat's been, how long have you been doing yours, Pat? For 3 years now. Yeah, about 3 years now. Pat's been doing this hangout every single week. He is on here, and he hates missing it. But he carries on, despite the fact that it becomes difficult, despite the fact that you've got to teach something new. He makes sure he's there no matter what happens. All right, and that's very important. Any other comments?
Yeah, Don said he couldn't, he needed number 6. Did you go back over that, number 6?
Yes, we just did it.
Good gracious.
Listening is the next one.
Hey,
You know,
are we
Ken's taking
when are we going to
notes,
go
I'm
live?
taking notes,
Just
and
when
he's
are we
sitting there.
going live?
He's taking drugs.
I'm
Oh
sorry,
yeah,
Pat.
I am definitely under the influence of drugs. That's for
Yeah,
sure.
that's also true. That's also true. Pat's got an excuse. Pat's got an excuse. But
Prescribed medication right now, everything's floating around me. You know, it's
hey,
kind of.
you know something, guys. I mean, I just want to add something here. The thing about growing in this industry is that you need to follow people who have been there before. The only reason that I know what I know is because I have followed people who knew more than I did. And when you listen more than you speak, and I know this is hard for Pat because he speaks more than he hears, but I know that he does listen. I know Pat listens. You know, let me tell you something. You can say what you want about Pat Patterson, but he listens. All right. You know, he may come across as this arrogant guy that just wants to say what he wants to say, but I have seen Pat do things that that shows me that he really does care for people. He really does want the best for people. And the great thing about Pat is this, and I'll tell you the great thing about somebody like Pat is that you know where you stand with him. Even if he doesn't agree with you, he can respect you if you are straight up with him. And that's very important. So make sure that you're following people that have been there before. And that's how we learn. That's how we get wiser. That's how because the more you listen, the better information you're getting. And the better information you get, that's just learning every single day. That's good.
Absolutely. You know, people, when I was a police officer, people didn't understand that because of the lying and being deceiving to a police officer or to me, that's why most of them went to jail. That's why most of them got a speeding ticket. For example, I remember one night, and it was so funny because it happened like back to back. Pulled a guy over for loud music. Walked up the car. It's just a kid, 16, 17 years old. I pulled a lot of vehicles over for being in the left-hand lane, doing 55 miles an hour, impeding the free flow of traffic. And I also went after noise violation, which was the loud radios, thumping the radio. And they don't have an FCC license to broadcast their radio all over the city, obviously. And that's what I'd ask them. Do you have an FCC license? Being a smart ass. And they'd say they wouldn't know what I was talking about. Well, what's that? Well, obviously you don't have one, so you don't have a license to broadcast your radio. So, and it depended on their attitude, whether I wrote them a $175 ticket or actually a $176 ticket. But I pulled this one car over one night, and this was like, I just came on duty, 6:30 at night. And I smelled the marijuana before I ever got to the vehicle. So I know what it smells like. And this dumb kid is like, no, he can put a mint in his mouth or something and be okay. The first thing I said is, where's the marijuana? And he got that white pale look across his face. Not even a deer in the headlight look. It was just white. Long story short, he finally handed over. He had a little 1 ounce bag of marijuana, and he stuck it underneath the driver's seat, which where everybody sticks it. I mean, it's like, that's their unique hiding place. We'll never find it there. So he reached underneath there, and I took a step back behind him when he started to reach underneath the seat. I had my weapon drawn down to the ground because I don't care if he's 12, he can still shoot a gun. And until he came up with the marijuana, I holstered my gun. And since the guy lied to me, I charged his ass. I charged him. You're going to jail now. You should have just been up front with me. And it wasn't. Now, about 11:30 that night, here's another noise violation going through the Bi-Lo parking lot. And Bi-Lo is like a grocery store. Not like it is a grocery store. I was going to say like Safeway or Publix. But here he goes through and he's got his girlfriend with him. Pulled him over in the parking lot. Noise violation. And you could tell when I said, I walked up to the car, same thing, smelled marijuana before. And this was a little a Ford Ranger pickup truck. A little black Ford Ranger, and he had his little girlfriend on the side. She's probably 15. He's 16 or 17. And I said, okay, buddy, where's the marijuana? And he didn't say anything. He just went like, are you crazy? What marijuana? He didn't say that. Just his body language, like. And I looked at him. I said, okay, before you say anything, it's up to you whether you're going to take your marijuana and we're going to dump it, or if I'm going to take it and book it into evidence while you're sitting in jail waiting for mom and daddy. And I said, oh, wait, think about this before you want to show off in front of your girlfriend. Now her eyes is done watered up. So I felt sorry for her. I want to tell her, look, darling, it's going to be okay. You're fine. Because both of them were high. So he reached in the glove box, and oh my God, he had like 9 ounces. I mean, a bag, just a big old bag of marijuana. He just bought it. So I told him, I said, you see the very end of this parking lot over here at where the buggies are, there's all the shopping carts. Pull right over there. Now, if you run from me, I'm going to shoot out your tires. And I'm just bullshitting. You can't shoot out their tires. So, oh no, sir, I'm not going to run. So he went over there. I had him get out, and we went about 3 steps into the grass, and I had him dump all that marijuana off onto the grass. He didn't go to jail and get charged with felony possession of marijuana. And I could have said with intent to distribute, which would have added another felony charge. Giving false information to a police officer if he told me he didn't have any marijuana. I mean, I could have just racked him up on charges. But because he had integrity, he knew he was caught. And his attitude is what got him out of that. And him and his little girlfriend went on down the road and went home. Of course, he's probably out, I don't know, $300 worth of marijuana. But I'm just saying that your attitude and the way you talk to people and your integrity is everything. And if you ever get pulled over, don't argue with the police officer. He's not the judge. We get this all the time. If you don't think that officer's right, yes, sir, no, sir, thank you very much. Hey, you be safe, officer. That'll usually get you out of a ticket. But if he's just a prick and he'd write his own mama a ticket, that's fine. Take the ticket. Go to court if you think you're right. That's why there's a court date. So anyway. Just want to throw that out at you, kind of follow up with what Dave Reinicke was saying.
Yeah. I mean, very direct. And that was the second time, Pat.
I'm sorry?
That was the second time you caught him.
Oh, no, it wasn't the same guy.
Oh, it wasn't the same guy.
No, it's 2 different guys. And hell, like 6 months before that, I told you guys about the parking area, little Lover's Lane. I got one down in there one night too. So yeah, people got tickets and went to jail with me, and everybody's not like me. There was a couple of others on our shift that were the same way. It's up to the driver. So just remember that. If you say, what'd you pull me over for? Because you know why you were pulled over. Come on. Everybody, when I pull, they know why they're being pulled over, but they want to act all innocent. And that pisses an officer off. I've taken more people to jail for POP than any other charge. POP is pissing off the police, or in my case, pissing off Pat. Now, the judge is going to read it as disorderly conduct, but I called it POP. So.
That's cool.
Hey, quick word here on Dave. You mind if I say something? Or
sure, no, go for it.
Man, we're sorry. The camera's not going to me when I talk unless I hit my. Now it is, but if I click off of it, it doesn't go to me. But we weren't forgetting about you, Dr. Wade.
Oh no, I'm enjoying the entertainment here. I just wanted to make sure that
we were waiting for the karaoke part of the show because we forgot to tell everybody about the special karaoke tonight. So you go ahead.
All right. Well, one thing, as Dave was complimenting you, not on your forehead or 5 head, but on your posture in your business, it reminded me of being a leader in your business. A lot of people shy away from that. They're like, well, I don't feel like a leader. I'm not a leader. But once you start learning these processes and you learn more than the guy next door to you, that makes you a leader. That makes you, yes, in charge, if you will. You are the expert, right? Well, there's two types of leaders, and some of this will resonate with you. And I'm going to give you a little story to go along with this too, a patient story. I should probably tell more of these because, I mean, I like Pat's police stories better, but I'll just say this: there's two types of leaders, and you can pick the one that you want to be. And I know you've been suckered by one of these versions. There's the leader that's going to sell you, or he's going to try to help himself based on what he needs. In other words, he's going to try to he's going to lead by giving you things that you should get to help him based on his needs. Okay. Leading based on his needs. Then there's the leader that leads based on helping you with your needs. I hope that makes sense. There are some people that they develop systems and businesses, and then they find people that these things can help. In other words, in conversation, in your marketing, the way you put your self out there, you want to communicate with people that you can help. Okay. You want to buy into things that can help you. When Pat talks with you, when Katie, when Dave, when I speak with you, we're listening, and we tell you what we have, and then we're listening. We're listening to you. Do you need what we have? Again, two types of leaders are those that are going to lead based on what they need. And these guys, some of them are very prolific marketers, and they go from business to business to business and system to system and product to product. They're marketing, they're saying the right things, they're getting people to buy a bunch of stuff. So because they need money, they need prospects, they need people. They're not helping they're not helping a lot of people. They're getting one-hit wonders. They're getting hits and hits and hits, and they go on to the next and the next. And then there are those leaders that help people based on what they need. Okay. That's the kind of leader I suggest you be. When you set your business up, when you are in business, you want to be you want to use attraction marketing. Of course, I'm a big fan of that. Those whom you can help. Okay. And I know you've bought products before that you probably don't need. You thought you did, like, well, crap, I don't really need this. Boy, he did a good job on selling me. He got your money. You helped him, but he didn't really help you. Okay. I see this in practice a lot. I like just today, I get this. And this pisses me off to no end because, physical therapy, I'm a doctor of physical therapy, and we see a lot of difficult conditions in the type of practice I'm in. And I'm one of those practices that's a specialty practice. I'll take on the really difficult cases, people that are about to go to surgery. For some reason, they never came into my clinic, or they didn't find out about me until the very end. And this is what I get. They go to these other clinics. Let's go with this lady that came in today. Poor little lady. Well, she's not poor anymore. She did good. Just as a quick tip or a bit of information there. She'd been told, hey, we're going to get you ready for surgery. You've got a blown disc and it's sitting out on a nerve. Pat knows a little bit about that. This was in her back, pain going down her leg, could barely walk. And she's at an age where normally they don't get this kind of problem. Well, they said, well, let's try a little therapy. All right. Therapy is the same everywhere. Correct? Wrong. Well, anyway, the lady goes to this other clinic and they run her through their back program. 4 weeks later, she's worse. Okay. Therapy didn't work. Somehow or another, one of her nurse practitioners knew that I could probably help, wanted me to get a look at her before they sent her off to the surgeon. So she comes in and I listen to her. And then I say, okay, well, here's what we need to do first. And then we're going to do this. And by this period of time, I should have you this much better. If not, then we're going to surgery. If you are better, then I've got you. You're going to be home free. Everything's good. Okay. Remember, Pat, when I said, here, do this, does that take pressure off? Does that make it feel better? And you said, oh yeah. All right. That gave me an idea as to what you needed to get your condition better. So, and then I start explaining this to the lady. She goes, well, I've already had therapy and that's not what they did. They're basically marketing and putting themselves out there to get people in, and they're just going to do what they need to do for themselves. That lady's money went into their pockets. That business pocket, but they didn't have the business benefited, but she didn't. I'm a results-based business. I think all of us are. We succeed based on helping others get results. If we don't help others get results, then we don't eat very well. People aren't going to buy our stuff. We don't have budgets, and we're not we don't have a corporation over us, and we don't have government subsidies supporting us, like the hospitals and whatnot. No, we have to help people succeed. And then in turn, we gain their trust, and then they use more of our stuff. Everybody wins. So by the time this session was over, she was crying because I'd already given her relief. She hadn't felt that relief yet. I gave her some relief, and then I gave her hope, and I laid out a plan for her, and I gave her a system that made sense. Here's the system that we're going to do step by step by step. And that's the same thing we do online. We find out, we listen, what are your needs? Our posture is, we're here, this is what we do, and we help you. We're going to listen to what you need. We're going to provide you with what you need, and then guide you step by step on how to do these things, okay? And again, this lady walked out crying today, and it just really hit home again. Some people are out there for their own benefit, and they're going to bring anybody and everybody in. They're leading based on what they need. They're not leading based on what you need, okay? And I suggest you adopt that posture. You lead based on what others need. You become an expert in an area that you love, that you're passionate about, you're interested in, and then you posture yourself in a way, you put yourself up as a leader that is going to help others get what they need. And just like Zig Ziglar said, the only way you're going to get what you want in life is to help as many people get what they want in life, as many people possible. Okay, I think I kind of paraphrased that, but yeah, there you go.
And if I could also add that you also need to understand that leadership and servanthood is always on play in your life, whatever you're doing. So it doesn't matter what you are doing, whether you're online, when you're offline. You just think about this. When you go into work tomorrow and you speak to the first person you in conversation with that first person, in that conversation, there's a leader and somebody who's listening, somebody who's following. And the problem comes in where people try to be leaders on top of leaders, or they're not leaders. They're people that just want to serve, and nothing gets done. So a good leader, or somebody who's a good leader, can decipher what's appropriate in that conversation or not. It's like if somebody asks for your help, you can either say, you know what, I know somebody who knows how to solve that issue. Remember, redirect and ramble. I know somebody that knows how to solve that issue, and they can sort that out. Or you can say, I don't really know. I honestly, I don't know what you can do, and you're not leading. You see what I mean? So in your conversation with somebody, you need to take on that role. And it's just like what Wade was saying. He took on that leadership role. He had a plan. It was all set out for her. And I'm sure that if Wade met somebody that knew more than he did, or that he could learn from that, he would switch positions, and he'd be mature enough to know that. And that makes a good leader, when you can actually know that inside of your business. But remember, in all your conversations online, there is this little power play going on where somebody is looking for a leader. In most cases, people don't find leadership. They just kind of want to have a conversation. But if you can establish yourself as somebody who knows what they're talking about, you'll get a lot further in this industry than just being the servant all the time. You want to be a leader.
Absolutely. And let me say this too. When you're first starting out, or if you've been doing this for a couple of years and you haven't had a lot of results, it's not a problem to get a third-party validation. Get somebody like your mentor or me or Dave, any of us on a three-way. And let me just give you this example. Let's say you work in corporate America and you're headed to the front door. You just got there to work and you parked and you're walking through the parking lot and you're walking up to the front door of the business that you work at. And some guy comes running out with a piece of paper in his hand screaming, a $50,000 bonus. Hell yeah, $50,000. And he runs by you, gets in his car and takes off. Your impression there is, that guy's crazy as hell. $50,000. Yeah, right. You go through the door, somebody else comes out of the elevator. Now, remember, you think this guy's crazy as hell. You meet somebody at the elevator coming off the elevator. She's got that same piece of paper in her hand and with tears in her eyes. I can't believe it. $50,000 bonus, $50,000 bonus. And she keeps walking, going out. That kind of validated what the first guy said. Now you don't really think she's crazy, but you're thinking, yeah, okay, well, whatever. Yeah. So you go up to the floor, you work on, you get off the elevator, girl right there by the receptionist desk. She's crying. I can't believe they gave us a $50,000 bonus. How convinced at that moment, without any proof at all, are you going to be that you may have just got a $50,000 bonus? I don't know about you, but my first question would be, I want to see that piece of paper. Wouldn't you? Now, so you went from, this guy's a nut, doesn't know what the hell he's talking about when you were walking through the parking lot. Within 3 minutes of getting upstairs, you're almost convinced that there's a $50,000 bonus. Validation, guys. Don't try to talk to somebody when you don't know what you're talking about. Don't try to convince them or tell them about a business opportunity when you have had no success yet. Get somebody else on the phone to validate you and to validate the company. It works. When you get somebody on a three-way, and I get on them all the time. Of course, I haven't in about, well, probably because nobody's calling me because of my neck, but I haven't had one in about 3 weeks. But I usually get a lot of calls wanting to go on three-ways with people, my team members. You know, I got this guy, he lives in Illinois. You know, he's real hesitant. Yeah, I'll talk to him. Get him on the phone. That validation means more than you staying on the phone with him for 2 hours trying to tell him everything about the business. Because I'm not getting on the phone telling them that. They want to learn all about the business. Watch the video. I'm going to train them in the very beginning. Watch the video. All the questions that he's asking, watch the video. But I'm validating you and I'm validating the business opportunity. So never hesitate to get a third party on the phone. Go ahead. Back to you in the studio, Dave.
I was just going to say we're at the top of the hour now. We're at the top of the hour. Man, I can't believe it. This is the second day in a row.
Everybody, please get on the, get over on the right-hand side, click on that banner, go sign up for the MLSP webcast. It's about how to get leads, close sales, grow your business, all that. So make sure you sign up for that and get over there. It starts at 9. Of course, usually they don't really get started about 9:10.
Hey, and guys, be sure you put us, if you're brand new with us, mark this down. We do this every Wednesday, 7 o'clock Central Time. As Dave said on, what was it, number 4, one of the tenets of success there, one of the 11 habits of successful people. And number 4, hang around successful people. So if you're not around those people in your life, we're here every Wednesday here for you. And that's one way you can put yourself in and amongst those people that are going to help pull you up, not pull you down. Okay. So just want to toss that in.
Absolutely. Guys, we will see you next week. Same Pat time, same Pat channel, Wisdom Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern time. You guys have a super blessed week and have a wonderful weekend.
Cheers.